So we've got a 2015 Audi A6 3 litre by TDI. We've got it in for diagnostics and potentially DPF cleaning. So in this video we're going to be doing the diagnostics and the DPF cleaning. On the dash it's brought up a DPF driving to clear error, glow plugs flashing while driving and a lack of power. So we're going to start off in this video doing the diagnostics and then potentially moving into the DPF cleaning and the diagnostics throughout. So plugged in with the ThinkCar X10 and we're going to go into diagnosis. So that's just communicating with the vehicle just now. The oil level okay, but we've got a flashing glow plug light just there. So this is topology for this vehicle and we're going to go into ECM. If you're unsure which one, you can go on system list here, or you could do a full scan of the full vehicle, but to save time I'm just going to go straight into engine and electronics, just over here. And read fault codes. So as you can see here, lots of fault codes. So this vehicle has a CAN bus immobilizer fitted, so it isn't too odd to see these loss of communication fault codes with the different control modules. That's quite normal. So if a vehicle's got a CAN immobilizer fitted, CAN bus immobilizer fitted, then when the vehicle's not started correctly, it can cause these sporadic passive faults to come up as it immobilizes the vehicle. So we can ignore them. All we need to be looking at, because we've got the flashing glow plug light, it's a sign that the DPF is trying to regen. This vehicle's been trying to regen for a good while and not able to. So we're going to have a look into the fault codes. So there's usually a reason why the vehicle will need a DPF clean or DPF situation is looking at, and it might just be driving around town. If someone's driving around town, then they're not putting in the miles on the motorway, and it might cause the DPF to block up if you're just driving around town. It might be there's a fault on the vehicle. As you can see here, we've got a mass airflow sensor fault, we've got an exhaust gas temperature sensor fault. These two, especially this one, could cause a DPF to not regen and not clean itself. That can then cause the DPF to fill up with soot and it be below efficiency. So yeah, my guess is that maybe this exhaust gas temperature sensor is dirty or broken and it might need replacing. So once it's got to this level where you've got a flashing glow plug and that's been driven like that for a good while, the DPF's going to need to be cleaned anyway. We might need to replace this sensor, or sometimes you can just clean them and it works again, but we're definitely going to have to clean the DPF with these faults we've got. But just to make sure, we're going to check into the live data just to finalise the knowledge and make sure that we're not cleaning the DPF that's already clean. So we're going to go back and we're going to go into data stream and have a look at some live data. So there's a useful search button here. You can type in here, for instance, soot. There we go. Soot. And press sure. We want to look at the DPF calculated and measured soot. We can press OK on that for now. So yeah, we've got 33 grams, so 30, pretty much 32, 33 grams of soot in the DPF. So yeah, it's definitely soot in there that wants cleaning out. So yeah, we're gonna have a look at that after we've cleaned the DPF and hopefully get that number down. The other thing we can look at in live data is we can press the search button and go for pressure. And obviously you can see all sorts of different pressures coming up. we're interested in DPF, exhaust gas pressure, something like that. Not fuel rail pressure. Probably gone past it. That area. Particulate filter differential pressure. We'll have a look at that one as well. That's about it, I think. So we'll have a look at that first. So let's press OK. So obviously there's no back pressure at the moment because the vehicle's not running. Let's start the vehicle up. So you can see already we're up to 120 HPA. What I like to do with this is look at it in a different format. So you can look at it here in a graph. Try and look at it in the graph. There we go. Got a screen protector on this, so the touch screen's not the best. So what we can see here, if we look at this graph, is it's sitting around 100-ish, 112 on its HPA. So that's on tick over, as you can see here. So just on tick over. If we rev the vehicle up, which you'll hear it, and you'll see this should start to spike as we rev it up. So that's at around about 2,500 RPM. We've dropped the revs. You can see it drop back down, settling back down to 113. When we're going up, let's get right up to sort of 400, 450. So around about 450. We'll do it one more. So yeah, we've got 460 on that one. And when we're holding the revs, it's pretty much staying around sort of 500 and around about about 4. Once we hold the revs around that 2,500 RPM, yeah, we're staying around about 420. So we want to get it lower than what it's currently at, and when we're revving it on maximum revs at 2,500, we want to get it lower than this 400 definitely. So yeah, that's my diagnosis. Pretty much confirmed that the DPF needs a clean. We need to look at that exhaust gas temperature sensor and see if we can get that sorted by cleaning it or replacing it. So clear fault codes. Yes, I'm going to clear the faults. So we've cleared all them faults down, and it's just left us with these faults here. So what we're going to do is have a look at. We've still got the exhaust gas temperature, and these are just basically 2 DPF faults and the mass airflow sensor fault. The car is in limp mode, so it could be in limp mode because the DPF's full, could be in limp mode because of this. So we'll try and see what we can get sorted. Going back, and go back again, and just have a look in special functions and make sure there's nothing in there for DPF. So we've got DPF regeneration. We're not going to bother with that. We'll just have a look at just cleaning the DPF and see if we can get them numbers down. So what I'll do, I'll pause it there, switch the vehicle off, pull the bonnet, and we'll get it connected up for a DPF clean. So it's quite a confined space in the engine bay on these. The DPF's just on the back of the engine, so I'm going to remove this engine cover to start with. So as you can see here, we've got the airbox coming in here, got a nice big turbo here, and DPF's just basically down there, down that back corner. So we're going to undo this exhaust gas temperature sensor, which will be a 17mm spanner to undo that. There's different tools you can get. If you've just got a spanner, then you'll probably need to tap it off with a hammer. So got the 17mm on. I'm going to just pause the video as I need both hands to smash this with a hammer just to knock it loose on the thread because it's pretty tight. So I've undone that, ran this cable down here, unplugged it from here, and undone the thread here. And this is the exhaust gas temperature sensor that's at fault at the moment. So might need to replace this part potentially. So I just pulled that out. We could take this out now and have a look at it. As you can see, it's pretty sooty as always. So it would be worth, before replacing that, potentially giving it a clean. Well, give it a clean and see if we can get it any better, and see if we can get that working. It might need replacing. If it does, we'll have to finish it in a different video and go from there. But we're going to go in here and clean the DPF through this entrance here. There's not really much you can see in there. So yeah, we'll get the pipe in there and get the DPF cleaned. So we've got the Red Ox Network solution, DPF cleaning solution. What we're going to do, we're just going to pour that all over the sensor and let that break away. So while we're doing the DPF clean, as you can see, it's starting to clean already. You can aggravate that, give it a little brush, a little toothbrush or something else. Let that do its job on that. So while we're doing the DPF clean, that can be cleaning itself. So I've filled up the solution, one part of it into here, and just disperse this into the DPF. So once this is fully empty, once all the solution is dispersed, we'll continue the video. We're going to fill that up with the engine switched off, let it sit in there for 10 minutes, and then once the engine's, after 10 minutes, once it's had time to work through the DPF, I'm going to start the engine up, get some revs on it, and just disperse the last bit through. So I'll just pause the video from here. So we've filled in the first step, first lot of fluid. You see it's just started to come over the edge as it's filled up the DPF. So that's been left to sit for about 10 minutes now. So what we're going to do is start the engine up and get the revs on it. So back in the vehicle, start the vehicle up. So what I'm going to do is get the rev stick and put some revs on it so it's up to 3000 RPM. So I've given this temperature sensor a good clean with a toothbrush, and you can see how dirty the solution is now. Going to pop that back in just to get the revs up so it's not whistling out on the temperature sensor. Pop that back in for now. Get the rev stick on. So that just hooks onto this steering wheel. We'll have a quick look at the live data, see where we are. Working its way down. Before was it sort of 420, and we've got another the rest of the solution to put in yet. Just drop the revs off completely. see we're going down to 107, 106. So yeah, we're around there at the moment, but yeah, we'll get the roads back on, get the second part of the solution put in, and then see where we are with the revs. I've got on the back of the exhaust the collector tanks, and they'll just collect the any excess coming out of the exhaust. So we've put all the rest of the solution in there, and we've connected this sensor back up, so that's all good to go. So the last thing to do is just start the vehicle up and give it a good rev out. As you can see, we're at 400, about 2,500 RPM, and we're just revving that, and as you can see the figures are just going down and down. So that's basically just going to keep going lower and lower. You see the angle of this is starting to come down these little steps as that pressure gets lower and lower. So it'll take a good bit of time, probably around about 5 minutes of revving the vehicle to get these figures down. 5-10 minutes I'd say, because this is a really blocked one. So it's going to drop the revs and see where we're at, because it was at 113 on tick over. You can see already we're on 87, 86, 85. So that's going down. So even on tick over, yeah, we're already lower than where we were at the beginning. So on the exhaust, sometimes you get some residue come out. Not so much on this one. If it's pretty hot, it'll just evaporate. It's evaporating out, as you can see, there's smoke. So we'll just rev this for about 5 minutes at 2,500 RPM, and then we'll see where our pressure is at the end.